I remember we flipped, and then a semi-truck flipped behind us the other way, and the fucking semi-truck split open, and there was boxes everywhere. And then there was a motorhome like a couple feet ahead of us that got fucking destroyed, and it was like out of nowhere, everyone just started going, and then yeah, it was fucking nuts. It was crazy.
And you guys decided to continue on with the tour.
Oh yeah, if none of us were hurt, it was never an option to miss any shows. Like it was like right away, it was like okay, Casey Strain and Terror are behind us. Let's see if one of them can come pick up our gear and the other one can come pick up our guys, and let's go to Salt Lake. Like our shit is destroyed. Our trailer was destroyed. Van was totaled. We were just like, so fuck it, let's go. So we crammed in those vans, played a show. The next morning we rented a minivan. We were in that for like a week, which cost us a depressing amount of money. And then our boys in Let Live, they had a van, an extra van actually, and they sold it to us, but they gave it to us up front, and they're like, pay us whenever you can. And then we bought a trailer, from this band called Fire from the Gods from Austin, Texas. They like kind of gave us a deal on the price a little bit too, and so we're back on our feet. We're getting there, you know what I mean? Like I still have some broken gear. Our bass player has broken gear. That's it, basically, though.
The DIY hardcore ethos seems to have been with you guys pretty much from the beginning.
Oh, and it always has. I mean, we're a band and we play music. If we're 100% healthy or 80% healthy, we'll still do it, you know. And that's really all we cared about. As long if anyone was hurt, we probably would have just dropped off. You know what I mean? But none of us, everyone was fine. We were like, let's just.
Last thing we want to do is miss a show, you know?
Yeah. We want to play shows. That's all we want to do. We're in a band to play music, you know. A lot of bands these days don't have that mentality. They're not in a band to play music like we are. You know, that's all we want to do. So, you know, that's what we did.
I know your first show was Dave Matthews Band, and your first show was Woodstock '94.
Damn, man, you're crazy.
That's awesome.
What has music always been with you from the beginning? Just wanting to be in a band?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ever since, especially after that experience when I was so young, I was 7, you know, and after that I was just like, that's all I want to do. I played sports, I played soccer for a while, but like got over it, you know, and always wanted to play music. And then me and him went to high school together. Everything just came together, and here we are.
Yeah, I used to be into sports too, and I used to be skinny and fit, and I played hockey and baseball. It was like awesome. And then I was like, oh, what is Evil Empire? And I put that in. I'm fat, overweight, in Hollywood, talking to you about music. So it's cool. I mean, I love it, you know. But it's definitely changed my life, music for sure.
Growing up in Long Island, what were some of the early shows like? Did you guys see Glassjaw?
Me and him saw Glassjaw at a secret show at this venue that doesn't exist anymore called the Downtown. It's probably a 300 cap room.
No, it's probably like more, yeah, like 5 or 6, I'd say.
But it was a secret show, and
like last minute, like they announced it at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Show was at 6. I called this kid, and he came to my house. We drove and got in. It was like $5, and it was fucking phenomenal. It was ridiculous.
Maybe like 30 people there, maybe 50 from when they first went on, and within like 10 to 15 minutes of them playing, the place was packed.
Packed. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
What year was this?
We were probably 18, 17.
Before we went full time, for sure. Like probably 2004.
Yeah.
I was just talking to that dude Mick, who used to play for. He works at Soundcheck, and he used to play for 18 Visions and Bleeding Through, and we're on tour with Norma Jeane right now. So I actually talk about the show quite often because it was the best show I've ever been to. Still, it was Norma Jeane, Every Time I Die, and Bleeding Through in a garage in Long Island, and it was the most insane thing ever. I only knew Every Time I Die. And then I saw Norma Jeane. This was before Bless the Martyr came out, so they were fucking wild. I was just like, what the hell's going on? And then I saw Bleeding Through. It was like blue lights and keyboard. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then Every Time I Die. So I just talk about that show a lot too. Like, you know, I've been to some fucking awesome shows in Long Island, and it's crazy. I still love going to shows.
Long Island's not the same anymore.
It's getting there, but it used to be phenomenal, like insanity. Like
between the Buried Me, I saw them with 100 people there.
Yeah.
At a
Hungarian Hall.
Yeah. Or something.
With A Life Once Lost.
Yeah.
Did you guys do a lot of basement shows and garage shows yourself?
We've done a couple. I mean, not. It wasn't very common, but we've definitely played a garage before, played basements before, like played everything, basically. Yeah.
On the topic of early shows, what was the Converge Poison the Well show like for you?
Oh, that was the first show I ever been to, actually.
In 2000.
Yeah, I mean, I went to local shows before that, but that was the first show I ever been to, and I never knew Converge either. And that was one of the most wild bands I've ever seen also, and it was like fucking crazy. And like this guy, you know, Jacob Bannon, he's got like bleach blonde hair. Like before Jane Doe came out, like they're still like they opened with Saddest Day, and like I didn't know what to expect. They put like bang, 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 and like the place was opening up, and I'm like, what is going on? Like I didn't know like crazy shit like that, you know. So that was fucking wild show, yeah.
And how did you end up working with Kurt with Villains?
I just emailed him, and I didn't expect a return, but he did, and he was into it. He had some open time, and it was cool to work with him. It was pretty intimidating. I was pretty young, and you know, and he's one of my favorite guitar players ever to this day. And it was just like, you know, him hearing my stuff like was weird, you know. So that was just like a strange feeling, like, you know, playing music in front of someone that was so meaningful in your life. It's just strange, you know what I mean? So.
What about for you, Drew? In retrospect, are there lessons learned from working with Kurt?
Yeah, I mean, they were there a little bit longer than I was. I ended up coming later, but when I walked in, I was just like, didn't know what to expect at all, you know. And he was always just doing all these like weird things with mics and just like not even weird, just like I've never seen anything like it before, you know. And just working with someone who's so creative, just realizing that there's more to just like plugging your guitar in and recording it, and that's what it sounds like, you know. It was like just him like changing cymbals and like doing all this crazy stuff, turning the amp down, turning it up to make it sound shitty, but when you record it, it sounds awesome. Just weird things like that. So just like learning that there's other things that could be done.
It was also, it was just very intimidating being like, he's like, oh, so what kind of tone do you want? I'm like, yours. You know what I mean? Yours. What bass tone do you want? I'm like, converged bass tone. You know, like everything. Like we went there like that. So we were very young and very like, you know, like, oh shit, the guy from Converge kind of, you know what I mean? But, you know, it was cool. My favorite recording experience was with Will Putney, though, on Rising Sun. Like, he was very involved in our songs and very funny and, like, just comfortable to be around and shit, and liked the band a lot, which is awesome. So he was cool to work with.
How does working with Will contrast from working with, say, Misha Mansour?
It's just different. Like, Misha was very hands-on, too. Maybe a little too much at sometimes, you know, but, like, Will could get in our mindset, and Misha was Stray and Misha. You know what I mean? It was like Stray and Misha like working on stuff, and Will was like, I'm with Stray and we're working on something together. You know what I mean? So it was really awesome working with Misha. We actually wanted to go back to Misha for Rising Sun. It just didn't work out, but you know, it was a blessing in disguise because, you know, Will was really awesome. So, but Misha was too. His that Making History came out fucking awesome. So like, I'm stoked on it. I still am.
What's interesting is I heard that he didn't necessarily like Villains initially.
He hated it. Yeah, he told me it sucked. Yeah, he did. And which I was like, fine, you know, that's cool. I was like, I forgot how I hit him up. We hit him up because we listened to Bulb, and we were like, yo, it was great. And then he was like, didn't want to record us. And I was like, yo, how about we come in and we do one song and see how it goes. And he's like, okay, cool. We came and we did the song Manipulator, which the track on the record is from the first time we recorded that separately, you know. And we wrote that. We had so much fun. And he's like, yo, all right, let's do the record. It's cool. So this is awesome. So it was funny. He thought we were shitty for sure. It was cool. You know, he still to this day admits it.
Off topic a little bit, but you had said that the Long Island scene has changed over the years. In what ways has it changed?
Just like the venues that we used to go to when we were, you know, growing up and going to shows don't exist anymore. Like there's like, you could go see like that show that he talked about, like Every Time I Die, like Bleeding Through, 18 Visions, like
no, Bleeding Through, Every Time I Die, Norma Jeane. That show, like everyone that was into hardcore scene and like metal scene would all go, and over the years it just kind of separated. Like hardcore bands just became like so elitist, and like you wouldn't see that show now. You know what I mean? Like just like certain, like a metal band, a hardcore band, and like a crazy wacky chaotic band. You wouldn't see that anymore on Long Island. Yeah, I saw another show, so strange. Every Time I Die, Code 7, American Nightmare, 18 Visions, Poison the Well. It was like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like now it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, that show ruled. Sahara, you remember that place? You remember that Sahara?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
That was a classic Shroud photos for that.
Dude, such a good fucking show. And the best local band opening. Remember Antarabe? At the time, they were like the best local band.
I do, yeah.
So like I'm saying, like that show, it's like, you know, like it was just completely like Code 7. Like they put out The Rescue. Like that was like a fucking atmospheric, like soft record. And they played it after Every Time I Die, like before 18 Visions. It was just like, and then American Nightmare. It was like, what the fuck, you know? Like now it's like weird, but back then it was like, oh, cool. This is just a show with a bunch of bands that rule, and they're all different. And that's why it's like we're doing a headlining tour coming up in a couple months. It's our first one. And people are like, whoa, that's a weird lineup. It's like, yeah, why the fuck do you want to see 5 bands that all sound the same? It's like, you get to see us, and you see fucking Cruel Hand, and then you see Counterparts, and then Structures and Betrayal. None of those bands sound the same at all. So why would you want to watch a show where all the bands sound the same? Like, to me, that never makes sense. Like lineups that make sense. Like, to me, like I said, Code 7 with American Nightmare. Like, that makes 0 sense, but it was fucking phenomenal.
It's just like anything else. Not even so much Long Island. Like, the scene has just changed completely.
Oh, everywhere.
It's not the same, you know?
We just went on, I won't say, but we went on a tour with a band, and they didn't know who Converge was. They didn't know who Refused was. And I was just like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like I understand if you don't listen to them, that's fine. I mean, there's tons of bands I don't listen to that I know how to, like you know, like Black Flag. I don't listen to Black Flag, but Black Flag. Black Fag. Black Fag is, if you miss the L, it's the worst thing you could ever say. Black Fag. No, but I don't listen to Black Flag, but it's like, I know Black Flag, you know? It's like, how could you be in this music without? You know, it's like, but it's like, now it's like, how could you be in aggressive music without knowing Refused or Converge? You know, it doesn't make sense.
So when you guys are in high school, you're seeing all these shows, all these crazy shows apparently.
Yeah.
At what point did you start to tour?
Once we made Villains, for sure. Like, Villains, probably right before Villains, we were probably going to break up. Like, because we had another guitar player in the band who was going to school to be a teacher, and that was it. He knew he wanted to do that, and we felt like we couldn't go on without him. And then we made Villains, and we loved it so much, we were like, yo, fuck this, we have to go. Like, we have to go full-time. So we found someone to replace him, and then
Booked a full U.S. tour.
Booked the full U.S. tour ourselves, and then we put Villains out ourselves, and then got in touch with Sumerian, and then here we are on the couch talking to you. So it's cool. It's been a good year despite all the fucking bullshit we just went through, but it's been cool. Like, the band is starting to move. It's good.
And then as you end up touring, eventually you end up touring with Hotep. I heard Hotep doesn't watch bands. I heard she stays.
Hotep, all right. How much time do you got on this? Can you?
We're good on time.
Right, good. Fuck Hotep. She's a piece of shit. We toured with her for 6 weeks, which I can't believe that we did that whole tour. But we toured with her for 6 weeks. Never met her once. She doesn't talk to anybody. She treats her band like a piece of shit. She treats her fans like shit. There's literally, like, in the backstage, the doors, like, that went to the alley that you can go to the thing. I forgot where we were, but there was like 15 to 20 fans that were just dying to meet her. She jogged from them. I was like, what a fucking asshole. Like, these people are what make you able to ride in your bus when she's talking about how, you know, like the BP oil spill. That's what we were touring, like, during that. It's like, oh, these gas companies, like, they're ruining the world, blah, blah. Oh, hold on, let me fill up my fucking bus with, you know, fucking $1,000 of gas. It's fucking, oh, I hate her so much. She's a piece of shit. I hate her.
What's up with the clown that came to one of the shows?
Oh, God. That was the turning
You know
point
so much shit. This is awesome.
That was the turning point for me. The tour had been going.
Clown at the show.
This is what happened. The tour had been going so, like, crazy, like, just never being a sport band, never got treated as shitty as we did on that tour. And we would have left that tour if it wasn't for the opening band they were from the UK. And we're like, yo, like, we can't just leave these dudes like here. Like, that would be so. If that happened to us, I would fucking hate whoever did that.
Us and I wrestled the Baron once. We're actually talking about, like, literally just fighting them all and leaving. Like, and we're not violent people, especially them. And it's like, but we were just like, they were lying, taking money from us, and it was just like all this shit. We were just like, yo, let's just fuck them up and leave.
but anyway, so I'm out. So everyone's hanging out. I forget where we were. It's summertime, so everyone's outside, like, sitting at these tables, like, drinking beers and stuff. So I get a beer and I go sit down. I'm talking to everybody. I look up and the clown walks out of the room. Outside, and I went, fuck this. And I just walked away. And,
a straight up clown. Like,
it would literally, like, he wasn't there for, like, doing magic tricks. He was there because he's a fucking asshole.
Big red shoes, like, huge pants, like
It was a
clown thing and like a honky. Like, it was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is happening right now? It is just
So
like absolute.
It was just the turning point for me on that tour. I was like, this one tour, like, I don't want to be on anymore because, I mean, I'm in this band to play music and tour, but that tour was just, I didn't want to be there.
Yeah, it's just like they.
It just wasn't fair to anybody.
Yeah, it wasn't. Terrible people.
Well,
Anyway,
on
I don't even want to talk about her anymore because I'm getting so mad. I'm sweating.
on a separate topic, whatever happened to the Green Day Burnout cover?
We have it. We have the Green Day Burnout cover along with we covered Vietnam by Rage Against the Machine, and as of now, the plan is to release a 4-way cover split vinyl with 3 other bands.
We will not
that-
say who.
Yeah, because I don't know. I know 2 of them are definite. One of them is kind of questionable, but yeah, it's gonna come out for sure.